can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm born with that right. Now, you can keep me from having that. If you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side, you can try.
It's with a heavy heart that I bring you this video. We had our first officer-involved shooting of 2020 in Spokane. This happened on the north side of the city and involved an order follower of the Spokane County Sheriff's Department. This as of yet unnamed deputy was performing a traffic stop from what the reports say. I'll play the press conference from Creme 2 News so you can hear the details for yourself in just a little bit. You hear me say this all the time when you see these cherries and berries, that it's a threat of violence. This is an unfortunate but ever so glaring example of that. We don't even know what the deceased was being pulled over for. I do know if it was some crime with an actual victim, like recognizing some stolen property and initiating the stop or something like that, they would have come right out and said it. More than likely, this is the result of a person that lives in a supposedly free country being threatened with violence by a gang of thugs clearly willing to carry out those threats on people who don't comply with their commands. Before I play the press conference with Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich, I ask you to hit the like button and share this video on all your social media accounts. Also, subscribe and leave me a comment with what you think about Ozzie's words. Then think about what victimless crime this person might have been committing that was worth their life. Was traveling at 6 miles per hour or even 12 miles per hour or any amount over the speed limit worth it? Maybe he hadn't asked our master's permission to use his property on the roads his tax dollars paid for a couple years. I don't know yet, but I do know if it were some heinous crime with actual victims where they could use it to solidify the idea that they're here to keep us safe, Ozzie would have brought it up. He does, after all, have a degree in marketing.
There is a large police presence right now in North Spokane. This is near North Monroe Street between Post and Wedgwood. Nicole Hernandez is there now where roads are closed. Good morning, Nicole.
All right, can you go ahead and start by explaining what you know so far?
No problem.
And is it okay if we press the live button now? The live button, that's okay to press now?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for one piece of information from Mark.
Okay. Got it.
At about 3:50 this morning, deputies attempted to make a traffic stop. And I want to remind everybody, this is very, very preliminary information. If something is different than what we know preliminarily, we will let you know and we'll get that straightened out with you. After that, initiating the traffic stop, there was a short pursuit. The suspect went into a yard, appears to hit a fence. The suspect got out of the vehicle. From what we know at this time, very preliminary information, the suspect walked towards the deputy, refused to stop. The deputy gave several commands. At that point, the deputy attempted to deploy his taser. The taser failed. There was a short foot pursuit. The suspect again stopped, turned, reached into the front area of his either pocket or of his pants. The deputy gave more commands, at which time reports of a shot fired. The individual that was involved in the pursuit has passed away, and the deputy is going to be put on administrative leave per our protocol. That's the information we have at this time. Again, if anything changes in that information, we will let you know. But everything we know preliminarily, you now know.
Mr. Knezovich, you had mentioned when we first got here that this is the first time that you guys have a different procedure to follow when it comes to an officer-involved shooting. Can you please explain what exactly that means and entails?
I have to stop this here because this is where Ozzie uses this press conference about an officer-involved shooting to further his political agenda by pulling on the emotional strings of people in this community. And this also sounds like it might add up to another instance of an unarmed man being shot by the Blue Line Gang. We've seen it time after time, and it won't stop until more people start making these order followers uncomfortable with their jobs. We have to confront them with the lack of ethics their jobs require. I-940 was a bill passed by the citizens of Washington State aimed at bringing more transparency and accountability to use of force incidents with law enforcement officials in the state. For statists who feel like they have to have a small group of people ruling over their lives and making their life decisions for them, initiatives like this make them think they can actually control those that have been suggested for the time being as rulers, yet have a monopolization of force backed by the willingness to use it. For someone who recognizes the only way to live free is without rulers dictating our lives to us, we see this initiative as the smoke and mirrors it really is. All these supposedly independent law enforcement agencies fly the same blue line flag of tyranny, so we can't really get an independent investigation. We get a different organization accredited by the same agencies investigating their brothers from another blue line gang detail. I'll now allow you to watch the rest of this press conference as Ozzy politicizes this man who thought he was free's death at the hands of an Aussie thug.
Because of the passage of I-940, the Sheriff's Office no longer has any ability to assist the City of Spokane or WSP in this investigation. So the full burden of this investigation falls on those two agencies, manpower-wise and everything. The WAC and the rules concerning this new protocol are draconian, to the point that we actually have to get approval when we finally get all the pieces together of a citizen advisory board, or to advise them that we are going to, let's say they needed our drone today, which they did. Technically, they're not supposed to use anything, any piece of equipment that we own. That's just ridiculous. The other aspect of it is this new protocol really limits my ability as your elected representative. People forget that in 2006, I really developed a different role. I became your elected representative in these matters. Well, this law took away my ability to keep you informed and to really know what's going on in this investigation without being briefed, not real time, but after the fact. So after this interview, I will have as much information concerning this investigation as you do, and you will probably find out that information about the same time you do. Which is, in my opinion, a very big disservice to the citizens of this community. My job is to keep you informed. That has been limited now.
Do we know if the suspect is male or female?
Pardon me?
Do we know if the suspect is a man or a woman?
It's a male subject. We don't know the age right now. Again, it's very preliminary information.
And then do you know how long the roads might be closed for? A couple hours?
As long as it takes to get the crime scene done. We're fully aware that we have a major winter storm coming, so we're going to do everything that we can to get that evidence secured and collected before that happens. But again, the manpower to do that has been severely limited now within this region. People don't realize how bad this law has affected our ability to do our jobs. The city now has half the manpower that we used to have in order to get these things done. In 2007, Ann Kirkpatrick, the former chief of Spokane Police Department, and I went, it's probably not a good idea for us to investigate our own officer-involved shootings. So we set up a region-wide, mind you, protocol to deal with these type of situations. Well, if the city were to have an officer-involved shooting, my agency will have to bear the full brunt of that investigation now, with no manpower to do so from the city, and that has severely limited our abilities. So there are unintended consequences to a law that was told to the citizens, this is only about training. If you remember the campaign on I-940, they told you it was only about training. No, it was about much more than that. It has damaged our ability to make sure that we have the resources to properly get this done, and that is a disservice to you, the people. It's a disservice to everybody involved, and I think it's just tragic that that politics got that involved in making sure that we do our jobs correctly. Any other questions?
Going back to the traffic stop earlier, why was he pulled over in the first place?
That is information that I don't have at this time. The next briefing, I suppose they'll have that information for you. But it sounds like it started as a simple traffic stop.
And then, do we know if he was actually armed?
We do not know that yet. We will be collecting evidence at the scene, determining what we have, but you have what I have right now. The individual on 2 occasions failed to follow the deputy's commands. They tried least lethal options first, and when the subject turned on the deputy and reached into his either pocket or the front of his pants, and didn't follow the deputy's directions at that point, there was a shot fired. At that point, I don't know any further information. Again, this is all preliminary, and as soon as we have that information, I'm sure that the City of Spokane Police Department will give you that information.
But just one shot, right? At this point?
As far as I know, yes.
Mr. Konezovich, lastly, I know that you had said, your deputies are going to have to stop now. Has City of Spokane Police arrived on scene yet to help or assist?
Yes, we have officially released the inner perimeter to the City of Spokane. We will stay on the outer perimeter to make sure the traffic flow and everything. One thing I would mention, north wall, north of Francis, is going to be very congested with police vehicles, so you might want to think about your morning commute, avoiding north wall right now. But we will handle the outer perimeter. They have the inner perimeter and the crime scene. Any other questions? All right.
This one might be a little bit early, but do you feel like the information you have now that everything was handled appropriately by the officer?
Again, I told you that this is preliminary information. We don't make any determinations of appropriateness until we know the facts. And I don't know all the facts yet. That will be borne out by an investigation. So if I were to make a judgment call at this point, I would not be representing the people of this community very well. So let us do our jobs, let us get the facts, and you'll know the facts as soon as we know them.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming out to speak with us this morning.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button and share it with everyone you know. Find us on Twitter, as well as censorship-free platforms like BitChute and Steemit or DTube. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to smile at someone you don't know every day.